Hi, welcome to the first edition of a CNA's Opus. My name is Rich. I'm a certified nursing assistant, and I really want to get things going here with a discussion on receptor tyrosine kinase. And I don't have pictures or diagrams prepared really because of the camera that I have. I got to get a better camera, and I don't want to draw things out and then have to hold it up. And I really need to get a better camera for that. But I feel as though I could talk things through here and get the point across, and maybe use some hand signals and maybe some pointing to kind of really get the general principle across on receptor tyrosine kinase. What happens is with receptor tyrosine kinase is that in the extracellular fluid on here's the phospholipid bilayer, and out here you're going to have the amino terminus, so you're going to have NH2 up here, and then you're going to have the binding domain of receptor tyrosine kinase. And then through the phospholipid bilayer, you're going to have a single spinning alpha helix. And then in the cytoplasm, you're going to have a catalytic domain of receptor tyrosine kinase. And then you're going to have the C terminus. And then what happens is a ligand is going to come in and bind to one of the receptor tyrosine kinases. And let's just use epidermal growth factor as the example. So epidermal growth factor comes in and binds to one of them, but it has to bind to two of them because the two receptor tyrosine kinase receptors have to come together and dimerize, kind of kiss right there, hold together. And then a process called autophosphorylation will occur. However, before I talk about autophosphorylation, I want to let you know that receptor tyrosine kinase always has a little basal activity. So it's always slightly on. So it could always kind of slightly turn on, say, PI3, AKT, mTOR pathway. But it's very minute, very little. But once autophosphorylation occurs, that's when things really take off. Another thing that I want to know that I want you to know is that the insulin receptor is a receptor tyrosine kinase. However, it doesn't dimerize. It's innately dimerized. It's innately like that. It doesn't come together. It's like that beforehand. But it is a receptor tyrosine kinase. So anyway, the autophosphorylation process is really a four-step process. So when they come together and they dimerize, there is receptor tyrosine kinase 1, and you can number them. If you want to draw it out and number it yourself, 1 will have one kinase enzyme go over and picks up a phosphate group and brings it over to 2, and then 2 has a kinase enzyme that will pick up a phosphate group and brings it back over to 1. And that activates it right there. Those two steps right there activates it, and that's when it really becomes active. So then a whole bunch of kinase enzymes will pick up phosphate groups and go over to 2, and then a whole bunch of kinase enzymes from 2 will go back over to 1, and that's the four-step process of autophosphorylation. The autophosphorylation, if I could show you the chemistry, it is a condensation reaction. So it'll produce water, and the oxygen on the tyrosine residue will bind to the phosphorus atom in the center, and you'll lose the hydroxyl group there. So you'll get water release. You'll get H2O. And the oxygen and the phosphorus will bind there, and that's the binding. That's the chemistry to it. And if I had paper and if I had a better camera, which I will, it's going to be a lot more in greater detail. And I want to end it with that. And I I hope to see you next time. Just give me a second here.